Welcome to the video. Let's go straight into it. For steaming my meat, I used one sachet of Benny. I really love this spice. It tastes so natural. Then I used 1.5 tablespoon of Ghana pepper because I wanted to make it very natural taste. I didn't want it too pepperish, and I used half tablespoon of salt, and I used about a full hand of crayfish. Let's call it 200, about 200 grams of crayfish, and then I put the same amount of crayfish. I put that same amount as in onions. And it's important to cut the onions into pieces because you want everything to dissolve and not be noticeable in the soup. Like your whole onion, you want it to have dissolved by the time the soup is ready. So I mixed it up together and stirred it well, and I did notice I didn't add water. I just covered it and allowed it to steam for like 5 minutes, and water came out of the meat, and the taste of those spice and the pepper and everything got into the meat and made the meat very tasty. That was when I now added about 600 ml of water to my meat because I really want my meat to get done well. So after adding the water, I let it steam for about 20 minutes till the meat was well done, but not before I added my stockfish. So in this stage, I added my stockfish. I added about one sizable head of stockfish. You can add the flesh of stockfish. You can add smoked fish, whatever you want, whatever kind of fish you want, but I recommend stockfish because I don't want the bones of smoked fish getting into my soup and you eating and struggling to remove the bones. So now I sieved out my meat from the soup broth. I think that's what it's called. The water from your meat is called, I think, meat broth. I don't know, I call it meat water. So I removed the meat. It's optional, you can cook it with the meat. I added more water here, but me personally, I like to get the consistency of the of my soups to be very light, and I don't want the meat distracting me. So I added only one Knor, and then I added 1 spoon of palm oil. Then I added more crayfish, about 2 tablespoons of crayfish, and I allowed it to boil. And once it has started boiling, I added Ofor, about 3 tablespoons, a total of 3 tablespoons. That was all I added for this soup. You can make it, if you want it to be exceedingly light, you can make it 2 tablespoons. If you want it thicker, you can make it 4, but 3 was fine for this amount of water. I added 1 cup of pomo and 1 cup of periwinkles, the side attractions. So I put that into the call it the soup water now. The soup water now I started getting the consistency I want. So I washed my mushrooms. Now you wash your mushrooms by adding the mushrooms into warm, not hot water, warm water with salt, and rinse them up and rinse out any sand. You rinse them like twice, and then they are good to go. Now it's looking like there is no space inside my pot though. Be careful when you're turning. You don't want to turn pieces your mushrooms. You want everybody to be standing gidigba. So it's looking like there's no space inside my pot, but that's just for the meantime. All these mushrooms in my soup, I bought them, all of them, for 300 naira. I added more water, about 200 ml. So all these mushrooms in my pot, I bought them for 300 naira. Now allow them. You can add more, you can add less, all on preference. The moment they boil, the mushroom shrinks. Okay, so don't be scared that the soup is too thick when you put your mushroom. Their ears are so wide, but when it boils a bit, it shrinks. So I added the meat back. The moment they are shrinks, I added the meat back. And one thing with mushroom, if the meat is already why I think I take out the meat is because of when they have not shrink, there's usually no space in the soup, and you gotta add excess water, and your soup will not be tasted water. This soup is just perfect, exceedingly perfect the way it is. So I added my oha leaves. I think I bought 200 naira on, but I only used half. I didn't put too much of the leaves. I think I used half of 200 naira portions of leaf I bought, and I just put it in and I stirred it, and I allowed the soup to boil a little bit, and that's just it. It's not hard, and it was ready. And if you haven't tasted mushrooms before, mushrooms taste like smoked catfish. They are so delicious. They are so delicious. Like, you need to see my husband licking his plates. They are so delicious. If not that I wouldn't want to embarrass him, I have a video of him licking his plate after eating this soup. So I served this with ripe plantain. My husband said he wanted plantain to swallow with plantain. So I just blended the plantain and my pounded plantain was ready. And this soup was, like I said, was so delicious. Don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys.